What if I told you this galaxy shouldn't be here at all? Not later, not billions of years after the Big Bang, but way earlier, so early that, according to science, it simply had no time to form. When the James Webb Space Telescope looked deeper into the universe, it expected darkness. Instead, it found a fully formed galaxy, sitting where nothing this complex should exist. This wasn't a small mistake. It forced scientists to stop, recheck the data, and quietly ask a dangerous question. What if our timeline of the universe is wrong? And what else is already out there, waiting to be found? The universe is supposed to follow rules, not loose rules, not flexible ones, but strict laws shaped by time itself. Some things are meant to take billions of years to form, and galaxies are one of them. They're supposed to grow slowly, layer by layer, across unimaginable stretches of time. That's what science has always told us. In the early universe, nothing complex should have existed yet. Everything was too young, too hot, too chaotic. Matter hadn't settled. Gravity hadn't finished its work. The universe was still learning how to become what it is today. And then James Webb saw something. A galaxy that shouldn't exist yet. Not something forming, not something struggling to take shape, but something already there, bright, massive, and structured. A galaxy appearing at a time when the universe should have been almost empty. At first, there was no excitement, no celebration. Scientists don't react that way. Their first instinct is doubt. So the data was checked again, then again. The instruments were questioned. The calculations were rerun. Quietly, carefully, but nothing changed. This galaxy wasn't small or faint. It wasn't chaotic or unfinished. It looked stable, organized, almost mature, as if it had already lived a long history inside a universe that had barely just begun. It was like walking into a forest on the very first day it ever existed and finding a 1,000-year-old tree standing in front of you. No explanation, no gradual growth, just undeniable presence. That's when the silence in the room became heavier. Because the problem wasn't just that this galaxy existed, it was when it existed. According to everything we know, there simply hadn't been enough time for something like this to form, not even close. If the observation was real, then the mistake wasn't in the telescope. It was in our understanding of how the universe works. James Webb wasn't supposed to find this. And now that it has, scientists are left facing a question they weren't ready to ask. Was this galaxy an impossible exception? Or was it proof that the universe learned how to build far faster than we ever imagined? Because if something like this could form so early, what else might be out there quietly forming in the dark, long before we thought it was possible? James Webb wasn't searching for something like this. That's the important part. This wasn't a mission designed to find fully formed galaxies. Webb was built to look deeper than any telescope before it. Not to confirm what we know, but to observe the universe as it was in its earliest moments. When scientists point James Webb this far back in time, they expect simplicity, faint signals, loose clouds of gas, the raw ingredients of stars, not the finished product. The early universe, according to every model we have, was still disorganized, more like scattered dust than architecture. Think of it like watching the first seconds after an explosion. You don't expect symmetry. You don't expect order. You expect debris, motion, and confusion. That's what astronomers thought they would see. Chaos, slowly learning how to become structure. Galaxies aren't supposed to appear instantly. They're built through collisions, gravity, and time. Lots of time. Hundreds of millions of years just to start taking shape. So when Webb was aimed at this region of space, scientists were simply trying to understand how that process begins, not to witness something that looked like it had already finished. They expected darkness broken by occasional sparks, not balance, not density, not something that looked settled. And that's why this discovery didn't feel like a breakthrough at first. It felt like an error. Because James Webb did exactly what it was designed to do. It looked back to a time when galaxies shouldn't yet exist. But one was already there, not forming, not struggling, just quietly occupying space it wasn't supposed to understand yet. And that's when the question shifted from "what are we seeing?" to something far more uncomfortable. Why is it already here? The room was quiet when the first data arrived. Not the usual low hum of computers or the soft chatter of technicians, just the sound of anticipation and fingers on keyboards. The images appeared on the screen, and at first, no one believed what they were seeing. It didn't look like a galaxy forming. It looked like a galaxy already there, fully structured, bright against the dark void, organized spirals, dense clusters of stars, clear shape, everything the early universe shouldn't have had. For a moment, the scientists froze. Excitement was there. Yes, but it was mixed with disbelief. Something about the data didn't make sense. Every model, every simulation, every textbook they'd ever studied said this couldn't exist. Yet, the evidence was staring back at them. The room went silent, because no one wanted to speak too soon. Multiple checks were done, recalibrations, cross-referencing with other instruments. Every possible source of error had to be ruled out. Cosmic rays, sensor glitches, software bugs. Each one was considered, tested, and eliminated. And all the while, the data remained unchanged. The galaxy wasn't fading. It wasn't distorted. It persisted, as real and undeniable as anything they'd ever observed. The silence wasn't just a lack of sound. It was tension. The kind of tension that comes when you realize you're staring at something the universe wasn't supposed to show you. The kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew. Because at that moment, the discovery stopped being just interesting. It became impossible. And the weight of that impossibility hung in the room, quiet but heavy, as everyone silently asked the same question: how can this be? To understand why this discovery is so unsettling, we need to step back and think about how galaxies are supposed to form. After the Big Bang, the universe was a hot, dense soup of particles and radiation. There was no structure, no order, just chaos expanding at unimaginable speed. Over time, the universe cooled. Matter began to clump together under the influence of gravity. Tiny fluctuations grew larger. Gas clouds condensed, forming the first stars, fragile, unstable, and scattered across space. These stars lived fast and died young, exploding in brilliant supernovae, spreading the elements needed for future generations. Slowly, over hundreds of millions of years, these stars merged into small star clusters. Clusters merged into proto-galaxies. Gravity, collisions, and time were the tools of creation, patiently building the massive structures we now see in the local universe. Every galaxy we've observed follows this slow, patient timeline. Time is the invisible architect. Without it, structure cannot exist, and that's why what James Webb captured is so confounding. This galaxy appears far too early. According to the universe's timeline, there simply hasn't been enough time for stars to form, merge, and organize into something like this. It's not just slightly early, it's shockingly, fundamentally out of place. This isn't a small anomaly or a minor glitch in the data. It's a contradiction, a puzzle that asks scientists to question everything they thought they knew about the early universe. It's as if the universe skipped steps, creating something fully formed before it was even supposed to have the chance. And when you truly grasp that, the impossible nature of this discovery becomes undeniable. Time, which is supposed to be the ultimate barrier, seems to have been broken, and that realization leaves more questions than answers. Because if the universe can form something this quickly, What else might it be hiding in the dark, just beyond our sight? For decades, we've believed we understood the story of our universe. Big Bang, cooling, first stars, gradual formation of galaxies, a slow, orderly progression. It's a narrative that gives us comfort, a sense of control, of predictability, of logic in the chaos of the cosmos. But now, standing in the presence of something that shouldn't exist, that story begins to feel incomplete. Maybe we've been reading it wrong. Maybe the universe doesn't follow the sequence we thought it did. What if the beginnings we've imagined, the timelines, the milestones are just a fraction of the truth? What if structure can emerge faster than we thought possible, or in ways we've never considered? This isn't a mystery you solve with a graph or a simulation. It's a question that humbles you, one that sits quietly in the mind and refuses to be ignored. The kind of question that makes you stare at the stars and wonder not just about how they formed, but about what we've missed, what we haven't yet seen, and what we might never understand. And as we reflect, one thought lingers above all others. Perhaps the universe has been trying to tell us something all along, something subtle, something we were never meant to grasp fully. At least, not yet. Because in the vastness of space, certainty is an illusion, and every answer opens the door to far more unsettling questions. And then, silence. The data doesn't give us closure. It doesn't explain itself. It simply exists, an invitation to think, to question, to feel the weight of how little we truly know.